Mikhail Gorbachev Biography. Mikhail Gorbachev was General Secretary of the Soviet Union Communist Party from 1985 to 1991. He was also the first democratically elected president in 1990. Mikhail Gorbachev played a key role in dismantling the communist grip on power in both the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe. His aspirations for democracy and reform opened up the way for the end of the Cold War and the bringing down of the Berlin Wall. He was removed from presidential office in 1991 during a failed coup attempt. Since leaving office, Gorbachev has worked tirelessly promoting new efforts at social justice and concern for the environment through his own organization, the Green Cross. Mikhail Gorbachev was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in October 1990. Gorbachev was born in March 1931 in Stavropol, the North Caucasus, to a poor peasant family. At the age of 11, the district was occupied by the Germans for 3 years. In 1950 he enrolled at Moscow University, where he became a member of the Soviet Union Communist Party. It was here that Gorbachev met his future wife, Raisa Maxima, and they married soon after meeting. After gaining a degree in law, Gorbachev made much progress within the Communist Party. Gorbachev gained a reputation for being hardworking. Unlike his other colleagues, he was moderate in drinking and not interested in gaining financial benefits. His dynamism achieved some notable achievements and the respect of party bosses. Communist system and how the vast bureaucracy was so difficult to change. Gorbachev believed in socialism, but he wished to see it become more efficient and better directed to improving people's
lives.
In 1980, he was the youngest Politburo member, and in 1985, he was elected General Secretary of the Communist Party. The relatively youthful Gorbachev stood in marked contrast to the previous aging and fossilized leaders of the Soviet Union. The KGB were happy to see Gorbachev elected, as they felt he had the capacity to improve the Soviet Union. They were not aware of how much Gorbachev would change communism and the Soviet Union. Later, some KGB sources said their biggest mistake was Gorbachev. On becoming leader of the Soviet Union, Gorbachev announced the key policies: perestroika and glasnost.
Perestroika involved reforming the economy and opening it up to market forces. Glasnost involved political reform. This involved freedom of religious expression and individual liberties.
It paved the way for democracy and for many political prisoners to be released. It was particularly significant for the Eastern Bloc. When Eastern European economies made calls for democracy, the Soviet Union no longer stood in their way. A year after becoming leader, there was a massive explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power station. The multiple failings and efforts to cover up serious safety breaches only reinforced Gorbachev's that the communist system needed serious reform. The Chernobyl disaster, more than anything else, opened the possibility of much greater freedom of expression, to the point that the system as we knew it could no longer continue. It made absolutely clear how important it was to continue the policy of glasnost, and I must say that I started to think about time in terms of pre-Chernobyl and post-Chernobyl. On the international scene, Gorbachev aspired to end the arms race. As he said, "We need Star Peace, not Star Wars." He built up good relations with US leader Ronald Reagan, and especially with UK leader Margaret Thatcher. He surprised the world by offering to make big concessions in the abolition of nuclear weapons. He has been credited with playing a major role in ending the Cold War, in both the East and also the West, in his Nobel address of June 1991. He offered an optimistic view of how countries might work together to build a better world. "I am an optimist, and I believe that together we shall be able now to make the right historical choice, so as not to miss the great chance at the turn of centuries and millennia, and make the current extremely difficult transition to a peaceful world order." In 1991, conservative military forces attempted a coup to overthrow Gorbachev to save the Soviet Union and communist system